Welcome back to Cards and Comics, guys. How you doing? I have a mail day. I'm very excited about. Been holding out on this one just because I've got a few cards I wanted to have all come in at the same time with eBay's, authentication side of it. Sometimes you can't really pick when you're going to get stuff in. Can't time it, so I waited a little bit longer than normal to do the video. But I'm going to start today, and I'm going to have a little discussion about one of my collections I do, and it's DC cards. Now you can see right here, I've got my new mat with Death from the David Finch Action 894 is my new mat. I love it. And change is good. I've had that same Cards and Comics mat for 3 years that I've been using. I also have a second Cards and Comic mat that's kind of a different flavor, but I thought I would switch out to Death, who's a big favorite comic book character of mine. And I'm going to talk about comics for just a second. I'm a huge fan of DC Comics. I'm a huge fan of DC Comic cards. The unfortunate part of that is that there hasn't been a lot of good DC Comic card sets in a long time. They've been focused on these hero, HRO, NFT, marketplace cards, and they don't do it for me. They're just not what I would consider to be a collectible like a regular card. They're designed to be this, NFT tradable thing with serial numbers and minted stuff. It's very complicated. I just want cool looking cards that are sketches and autographs and have really cool stuff on the cards that make me want to collect them, and that's some of those cards are. So they haven't generated a lot of new cards in a while, so I've been going back and just buying cards that I like from the early 2000s to mid 2000s to late 2000s, when they actually made cards that look cool and had sketches and inserts that looked like inserts, instead of cards that look like playing cards and trading card game cards. So I'm going to start here with some sketches. I collect 3 or 4 main characters in the DC universe. Just like with Spider-Man, you always collect Batman. It's just, everyone does. But I collect Poison Ivy, Death, this character here from Sandman universe. I do a little bit of Harley Quinn, but she's like Spider-Gwen, like everyone collects her too. And then Blue Beetle and Booster Gold. So that's my characters I like. I do a lot of collecting those characters. And so here's Poison Ivy. I got 2 sketch cards from the same seller. So here's one that's in a very playful style. I call kind of like a cute style, Funko style with a big head. This is also like kind of like My Little Pony style, from Roz Ortiz, the artist here. And this came out of a Cryptozoic DC Bombshell card. And the thing I liked about this is you can see these are marked with the artist proof, meaning that for people who don't collect sketch cards, artist proof means that the artist gets to keep a certain amount of cards, and they make we call like more detailed sketches that they sell themselves for a higher price. So that's how they kind of make money, because in sketch card world, it's very common to see artists get paid $15 to $20 per sketch. So they'll do like 100 sketches for a set and get $1,500 for their entire effort. Then they get like, say 50 artist proofs that they'll sell for $200 a piece. And so like, that's how they make, actual money on the product, because their artist proofs will be a lot more detailed and they'll sell for higher value. So this is a artist proof from this artist of Miss Ivy. And then here is the contrasting style of cards. So this is what I liked about it, was 2, crazy different styles of art. And this is definitely more of like a Batman animated series, type art, even though the hairstyle, if you know what she looks like from that series, it's kind of like a stylized version of this. And again, this is the Bombshell set, so they're trying to make them look kind of like 1920s characters. So it's kind of like a mashup of those 2 styles. I like it a lot though, because it's very, very detailed. And this is William Bowen Donnelly that's did the set. So there you go. 2 really cool sketch cards of the same character done in completely different styles, which I thought was really fun to pick up. And then I mentioned, another favorite character I collect is Blue Beetle. He does not have a ton of cards and sets. And again, I collect the Ted Cord Blue Beetle So there's been like multiple Blue Beetles, Dan Garrett, Ted Cord, Jaime Reyes, which the new movie was about. But I'm the Ted Cord guy from the 90s, and this is a Ted Cord. This is like the style here is more like DC Unlimited or Justice League Unlimited style. It's a more angular bird-like features for Ted, and they drew him like this in some series, so it's not like a weird style that you don't ever see, but it's not the normal like Ted Cord looking art. And again, this is an old DC Universe sketch. This is probably from I was going to look at it, maybe like 1982. Yeah, it doesn't have a year on it. Unfortunately, they didn't do this they kept the same backs for a lot of years for some of these sketch verse cards. So they didn't want to put a year on them. But I'd say this is like 2010, 2012 era sketch card. So it's an earlier sketch card where, they would do headshots or kind of minimalistic, versus like more detailed art in later years. So, but it's cool to find a Ted card or a Blue Beetle Ted Cord card of any sort. So I'm very excited to get that in for my collection. So I know a little long-winded there, but I want to talk about those cards a little bit. All right, moving on. We'll move into some other sports. And so I only have one football card to share with you guys. But we'll get into a lot of 90s stuff. And I have some vintage stuff too. So it's going to be a pretty wild middle day. Here's a Peyton Manning card from 99 Finest. And it's hard for me to give you like, try to get a little better light here. But this is the gold. So 99 Finest has these Team Finest cards, and I'll just show you the numbering on it. It's right here. Whoop. 250. The 119 out of 250. So this is the Team Finest Gold base card. 250. Now the refractor version is out of 25. So this is the rarest regular version of the team card. So there's blue, red, and gold. And so this is the rarest number 250. I thought it was cool. Very cheap card. I picked it up. Big, growing my Peyton Manning collection as I kind of branch out into, that, side of collecting, which is football, 90s inserts, Peyton, and, doesn't only has 2 years, 98, 99, but still pretty important years for collecting a lot of cool sets. So here's 4 cards I picked up for a set I'm building. So I love the Top Stars and Steel hollow gold dome cards from 99. I've got a box coming in. I'm going to be doing a box break soon. My second box break for that. But here is some cards I picked up for that set. Here's Darren Erstad. And again, you can see these cards are just pretty wicked. And they're coated in epoxy. And I'll try to pull it out and just give you an idea of what the card looks like here on the edges. You can see it's a very thick card, but it's also rolled that's why they call it domed. But you can see outside of that holder there how holographic and cool that card looks. It's on the back as well. So there's only 44 cards in this whole set. So here's the Darren Erstad. I think I have like 6 now of these cards. So I'm slowly building this set. I got one card on check out my cards right now. Here's the Gary Sheffield. Here is a Dante Bichette. Go. And a Vinny Castilla. So, and they're available enough that I can build this set. The Griffey and the Jeter are expensive. Will I be able to get them? Sure, they're not impossible to find, but expensive. But at least they're available. Some sets you just don't even see the cards. Next up is a card from a set I'm building, but it's the Call to Arms Green Crusade Juan Gonzalez. And remember, the greens are number 250. So another card in that set. I probably have 30 individual players in this set so far. So just slowly building the Crusade set year over year, getting 4 or 5 cards a year, on average. All right, next up. So before I get to the next thing, to show this card off a little bit. This came up and this was like 20 bucks. So I bought it. It's the Jeff Bagwell Centurion from 98 Finest. And again, that's 98 Finest set, in Series 1, you had, I think, the Man, and then Series 2, you had the Centurions. The Centurions are numbered out of 500, just like the Man base cards are numbered to 500, and the Refractors out of 100, just like the Man. So these are the same rarity as the Man cards. They just, people like that design for the Man better than Centurion, but it's still a really rare insert set to find. So it was just cool. I was like, for 20 bucks, I'll pick up the Bagwell. It's just, 90s cards like that are just so cool to pick up. All right, next is going to be a player that I normally don't collect, but I wanted to, just expand my 90s collection. And I had an opportunity because the cards I picked up recently on the Frank Thomas side for the, for a refresher, I picked up cards like this Man Refractor recently, which is an amazing card. The same seller was selling off a Mike Piazza collection with a lot of the same years of inserts and quality of inserts. And so I went ahead, and because Piazza is so much cheaper than Thomas and Griffey, I was able to get a few Piazza cool insert sets from sets I like, starting with this 99 Bowman's Best Atomic Refractor. I'll say it again. I say it in almost every video. I love the 99 Bowman's Best set. Here's the Atomic Refractor Mike Piazza. And again, they are numbered out of 100. There you go. 42 of 100 for this one. So, I am slowly again building the, I hate to say I'm building the Atomic Refractor set, blah, blah, blah. I'm just buying as many of them as I can afford and buy. If I ever get to the point where I got the Griffey, so maybe I just say, I got the Thomas now. So maybe at some point I just say, yeah, I'm going to build the Atomic set. It's a big set. So, that's a big commitment, but I keep slowly adding more Hall of Famers and cards to that set. But what I'm going to say is that the collector, or the seller of these cards, and he just sold more Frank Thomas cards this week, and I missed out on every one of them. I bid on like 6 and lost them all at the last second to higher bidders. So there is a huge bidding war out there on these really cool inserts from the 90s. Not just Griffey cards, but Frank Thomas, and even these cards went pretty good, I thought, for some years. So yeah, and they are in amazing condition. The guy who put these collections together obviously cared a lot about condition and kept the cards really nice. Next up is the I think this is 97. Yep, 97 Ultra Platinum Medallion. Mike Piazza. And the 98s went like nuts because they're all numbered out of 100. They have like the black and white photos. People just think the 98s are the coolest designs. This is the 97 design. It's got that cool different color foil. Even the Flair Ultra logo here is different color foil. Not numbered, but stated print runs are 100. So pretty cool to pick up a platinum medallion. I've been picking these up whenever I get a chance, just because I think the platinum medallions from any year besides 98 is undervalued. It seems like 98s have gone kind of nuclear. And last but not least, I'll take out the little baggie it's in, because I think the baggie was a weird choice for whoever bagged the card up, because it's enormous. So I'll put in a different baggie. But this is one of the sets that has become iconic in the 90s, and this is the Flair Brilliance Gold, and this is the base gold out of 99. It's not the 24 karat. I still do not own a single 24 karat gold card. I've had a few chances to buy one. There it is, number 34 of 99. I just haven't pulled the trigger. I just don't want to spend $200 on a common player from the 90s just to get a 24 karat gold to say I have one. Now, would I pay a couple $100 for a good player? Sure. And so I'm hoping that may manifest itself at some point. But here is, I'm trying to get out of the glare. It's just hard, this card. It's very shiny and reflective. It's a beautiful card. It's just such a cool card, cool set. And again, it's a very nice condition. And again, I just picked up the Frank Thomas And so the Frank Thomas will be coming to a grader pretty soon. So there you go. From the same seller, the Frank Thomas and the Mike Piazza. So they're going to be going to auction, or not to auction, to PSA pretty soon. And again, so showing off there is the Frank Thomas Atomic. So, I'm buying the same inserts, of different players just because I love the inserts and think they're cool. So there you go. There's the Mike Piazza. Now I'm going to move into the vintage cards before I move into Griffey, because it's a lot of Griffey cards, and just want to make sure I give them enough proper attention. So I'll do the vintage cards. So I'll start here with this really nice 69 Tom Seaver. This card is just dead on, man. Maybe a little off, but it is from left to right, but man, it is nice. It's got great color and gloss. It really does. It is the card that I'm struggling to figure out why it's not at least a 7.5. Because when you flip it over in the back, maybe, yeah, it's got a little thing here. So that's probably it, that little corner thing there. But you can see from the back how bright that pink is. This card was just kept in immaculate condition. It's a beautiful PSA 7. So this is like, as a PSA 7 goes, this is a nice one. This is one that you put in your sets or put in your collection and say, I don't need an 8. The 7 is really nice. And if that little corner flip bothers you on the back, then yeah, go by means find an 8 that's just as nice without that corner flip, but you're going to pay a lot more money for it. So this is like one of those times where I love that 7 and I love this card. I think that's, the 69 Seaver is a beautiful looking card, and third year card, so it's still cool. Still early for Seaver. So then last but not least, in the vintage, because the only 2 vintage cards, I know I made a video where I'm not buying vintage cards anymore. I'm buying them, but they're not as big a priority. Just because I'm pretty advanced in my vintage collection. And someone said in the comments, like, get into pre-war. Well, I am, slowly building some T3 cards. I've got, I think, 5 T3 cards now, which is a beginning. But I'm not going to, just, be buying T3 cards every week. So, I'm slowly, finishing my Maze and Aaron cards. And so here is a cool Hank Aaron card that I've never had before. Now, it's a 71 O-Pee-Chee. So for people who love cool and rarity stuff from the 70s, this is like right up your alley. I do collect O-Pee-Chee cards quite often. In fact, at the National, I picked up the Clemente O-Pee-Chee card, which is super hard to find. They're kind of cut short, so they get min-sized a lot. And so it was cool just to pick up a base, not base, but like just the O-Pee-Chee, Hank Aaron in a nice grade. 7 is a good grade for this card. There is the amazing O-Pee-Chee back with the yellow and that headshot in the middle. Just completely different than what the Topps card looks like. So yeah, it's a little top to bottom, got a little chipping on it, but it's a 7. Do I like the card? 100%. This is just an awesome card. I can't wait to get a 71 O-Pee-Chee Willie Mays. Now I've got the Aaron and the Clemente, so I'm slowly ticking off these cards. So I am furthering my Aaron collection. I need the 72 Aaron. That I will definitely get that before the end of the year. So that is huge on my list to get, because that would knock off my whole 70s Aaron checklist, and I'd have every Aaron card from, I think, 59 to 74, or sorry, 76. So like that's a huge run, 59 to 76. So I need the 58 and his rookie card. But to get every card from 59 to 74 is still a pretty huge accomplishment to get done this year. So, all right, moving on into the King Griffey Jr. portion of the video. This is going to be interesting because, like previously, there was someone selling a collection that I ended up buying quite a few pieces from. I'll start here with a really cool Studio Platinum King Griffey Jr. from 1995. So this is just a weird set. Like, I think This is like, I would love to hear the story behind this set, because Studio, when it first came out, was known for its photography. It was given the name Studio because the cards looked like the players were in a studio and took these cool shots, and just like everything was like a lot of headshots and a lot of just good photography, kind of cool backgrounds. It's just like, it was a very much a photography heavy set, kind of like Stadium Club. And then they came out in 95 and said, screw all that photography stuff. We're going to make our cards look like credit cards. So, like, I don't know what happened, like studio credit cards. And they did it, and they went all in. Like, you get the base card, the gold card, the platinum card. The platinums, I think, were like 1 in 15 packs, so they're not terribly rare, but, it's early in the parallel game, so it was kind of tough back then. You don't see them every day. And you see the back. You get the fake autograph, which I'm assuming faked out some folks back in the day. And you can just see it's embossed. I mean, it's like they went full out with that whole, credit card theme here. So the numbers are raised. I mean, it's just interesting. It's odd, I don't get it. You see for the numbers here, it says average, home runs, RBIs. So given that, it's a weird design choice, it came out of the blue, out of nowhere. It didn't have any connection with the prior sets. They abandoned it after year 1, but what they did was they would come back to it over and over and over as an insert. So you can look at years and years of studio sets, and invariably they'll have an insert set that has the credit card design. Now, in later years, they made it harder to find and harder to get, but that kept coming back. So here's year 1, and here's this credit card design. And a lot of people hated it at the time, but to me, it's nostalgic, and it's cool to see it in the platinum, which I've never owned before. So that's cool. Another card to get to before I get into sort of the collections I was buying. Card right here is Ticket Studs from 1999 Ultra, I think 99 Ultra. This card folds out so like a whole ticket stub. It's just a really cool insert. I believe these are 1 in 144 packs, so they're hard to get. And this raw card I bought under $20. So what I'm just telling you guys, the reason why I bought it, and this is my second copy, but it's just like, as Griffey goes, and I'm going to show it here in a minute, like, you can still get a lot of nice Griffey cards. Like, this card is cool as heck. Under $20, under $30, tons of, cards out there. And this is 1 in 144 packs, so it's not like an easy card to find. So they're out there, you don't, if you are on a budget and looking to get some really cool cards from the 90s, there's still some really rare cards out there that you can get that don't break a budget. And I'll be talking about quite a few here in a minute. All right, next up was a guy was selling some Griffey cards, and he had a ton of game used Griffey cards. And it's one area of my collecting of King Griffey Jr. that I don't have a ton of. And what's coming up next is another area I don't have a ton of. So, I've never really made it a huge emphasis to get game used cards, even from the 90s, outside of the first game used, that first Upper Deck game used card, from what was it, 95, 96 Upper Deck. The first game used set with Griffey in it, I have that card, which is a major Griffey card. So I wanted that card. But over the years, I've kind of thought, like, getting Griffey, game use cards is another avenue. It's kind of a refractor, right? It's like another version of a subset that's pretty cool. And I bought all these cards that you're going to see here. None of them was, I think, more than $30. So I think that is a lot of fun. First up here is a card from 2000. So, right after the trade. It's from Upper Deck game used. So I thought originally it was Ovation, but I just think it's Upper Deck. And it's the game used game ball card. And there you go. The thing I love about this card is you can see the stitching right there. That makes that card so cool. So obviously 2 things going on. The card is not numbered and it's not autographed, but it's also a non-Mariner card. It's got his hat backward. That's kind of cool. But non-90s and um, non-Seattle. So cards sold for less than, I think, $30, but you got that cool, game ball card on there. So to me, it's definitely one of those things where I say, like, I think that card's cool, and I'm glad I picked it up. Next card here, again, it is from 2001, so 1 year later. It is from Ovation, and it's from their Piece of History set, and it is the Game Used Bat of Griffey. And again, another non-Seattle card. And again, this card was even cheaper than this card. So again, just not numbered, but cool looking and not breaking the bank. And again, and hard to get. I mean, I think the odds on those cards were in the hundreds to get. So not like you can get that card out. If you open a box, you're not getting that card on, or getting one of those cards per box. They were tough. And last but not least is a card here from, let's see, 2000. So 2000. And this is actually a card as a Mariner. So it's from Upper Deck MVP. It's the Game Used Souvenir card. The Game Used Bat. So there you go. A Mariners card from Upper Deck MVP from 2000. Just cool card. Again, people make fun of, you get those tiny little pieces of jersey or bat, but, again, not breaking the bank. These cards are like, $25, $30 to get. So a lot of fun and pretty cool. That I think maybe this card was like $40 or something like that, because it is a little bit nicer in terms of the game use piece. But anyway, it's just kind of showing that they are a cool subset of Griffey cards. And again, they're not like hundreds of dollars. They're just kind of like a little more expensive than kind of like some inserts, but they're not as expensive as an autograph or a refractor. So it's kind of that cool mid-ground level card. Now, the next thing and the final kind of cards I want to have in the video all come from one manufacturer, a manufacturer you don't see in a lot of my videos, because, I'll talk about sort of why I think, why it's not as popular, but specific. I actually saw a video with Mike Kramer, the former CEO, talking about, Pacific, kind of their innovations. They did a lot of good stuff, but they also did some stuff that made their product not as great. And I think I'll talk why I don't think they're as popular as they used to be, or as they probably could be, based on the cool innovations and designs they had, but also some things that made their products confusing or just not as, I think, obvious what was the coolest cards in the box sometimes. So first up here is, a card from 1998. It's 1 in 25, so this is one per box. And is the I think it's the All-Star card. Yeah, it's the All-Star card from Crown Royal, Pacific Crown Royal. And there you go. It is die cut, and see those little pointy stars up there. I mean, very easy to damage. It's a cool die cut. And again, it's 1 in 25, which is one per box. I do mark these cards down here, with the year and the rarity, just so I can, put them in my collection. So if you watch my Griffey Jr. collection video, I am now, like, from the raw cards, I sort them by rarity. So 1 in 25 is one, so I sort them by how cool and rare they are versus by year. So, or just, by set or year. So it's by rarity. So it's a cool card. It's die cut. It's got some foil on it. So it's got some cool things going on. So it's not like, what I consider to be, the most attractive Griffey card from that time period, but it's got a lot going on. It's 1 in 25. So it's like one per box. So here's another 1 in 25 parallel or card, from 2000 Pacific. So this is like, base Pacific. This is their Gold Crown die cut, which was, to me, when they first came out, were just amazing looking cards. And I really enjoyed this set. So this is, again, 1 in 25. So it's the same rarity as the card before. And but look at the 2000 version of this card, and this is 98. So 98 to 2000, and in 2000 they had really up some game. They got holographic foil, you got lots of gold, and just the card's really attractive. Just a really nice looking card. And it's 1 in 25, so you get one of these a box. And it is still a Mariner, so that's a +1 for this card. So again, talking about pricing, when I bought all these cards, these specific cards that I'm going to be talking about, I think I cost averaged it out, and it was less than $20 for all these cards. Taking away one card. There's one big card, every other card. So you take out the one big card, every card averaged out less than $20. So on average, so like this card was under, on average was, every card that I'm going to show you here, under $20 to pick up. So again, it's 1 per box, and it's a cool looking insert, and it's got a lot of die cuts and holographic going on with it. Next up is the Gold Crown die cut, and again, there's going to be, I picked up quite a few of these. This one is from 1996. So this is 2000, right? So here's the one from 96. So the 96 one was 1 in 37 packs. So, kind of the OG kind of started the beginning of the making of these products. So there's the 96 version of that same card, and a lot more plain, just foil and the die cut. Not as much going on, but it was early in this evolution of this card. And then the next up is the 1997. So the 97 version, a little more gold, a little more design elements to it. The gold's got some cool, it's not as flat. So you can kind of see the evolution between 96 and 97. And then the kind of like, the ultimate version in 2000. So, and then this one was 1 in 37 packs too. So, like 1 in every box and a half. So you didn't get 1 per box, but you got one like, every other box, or, 2 in every 3 boxes, something like that. So next up is the Aurora from 99. This is the Styrotech, which I don't know what that means, but this is what the card looked like. And it's, again, 1 in 37 packs from 99. It kind of has, like almost like, like a hardware computer design going on with it. And, maybe I'll take out the holder so you can kind of see, maybe it looks cooler out of the holder. So there we go. And it does. It looks a lot cooler out of the holder. So, what I say about this card, it's thicker. It's from Aurora again. So it's kind of a interesting set. This is like when we're talking about some of the negatives here. So here's a card that's 1 in 37 packs, and then this is a card that's 1 in 37 packs. And it just feels like they didn't put a lot of effort in this Styrotech card. It's just a little bit, it's kind of a thicker card with a little bit of gold stamping on it with a black border. So it's just, I think this is sort of what happened with Pacific is that they would make a lot of cards that were hard to get, rare from a pull rate, that were just kind of boring. And I think it makes it where it's like, yeah, okay, this card was 1 in every, box and a half, 2 every 3 boxes. But it's like you pull it and you're like, oh, okay, it's just another card. And I think that is sort of one of the reasons why people kind of want like, oh, okay, well, I don't really care about that design, so I'm not going to really pay a lot of money or attention to those cards. That's why it sells for like $20. Whereas like there's a lot of tops and upper deck inserts that are the same pull rate that sell for $50 to $100, just because the design's a lot cooler. Here's one from 1996, 1 in 37 packs. This is Moments of October. This is when they had the bilingual card. So here you go. You get the Spanish and English. October Moments. I'll try to get it in the light. And this card actually has a lot of cool, some etched foiling going on down here with the little leaves. So it's not a terrible looking card. Reminds me a lot of Upper Deck and Tops cards from this time period. But it's not, I mean, like, it's not super, original. It's just like, it's well done, well executed, 1 in 37 packs. But you can see why this card would sell for $10 to $12, compared to $30 to $50. It's just a normal looking card. And again, the set itself was, I think, just regular Pacific, from 1996. So again, but again, I don't have that card, so as a obsessed OCD guy, I need it. This one's, I think, a little bit cooler of a design. It's 1 in 37 packs. It's from 1996 Pacific, Crown Royal. So this is from no, this is just basic Pacific. Sorry, and it's memorable moments and milestones. So I think it looks cool. At least it's got a lot more going on with it. It's got etched foil. It's got a really cool blue foil color, which does a really good job of blending in with his uniform. So I just think it's a nice looking card. So this is definitely a step up, and you can see there's numbers in the background. There's a logo, the Mariners. So a lot more design going on this card than this card, right? I mean, just this card's kind of flat. You get a little foil etching down here, but this card definitely looks nicer, and it is the same pull rate from 96 as this card. So, I'd rather pull this card than this card if I was going to just judge them on how they look. So, and it looks more like a parallel, right? Because it has that whole foil color background. So yeah, just a nice looking card. Now, the next cards are the cards that are more rare, and the designs are a lot cooler. Here's from 97. This is from Pacific base card, the base Pacific set. This is the fireworks card. I think a lot of people love this card. I get why people love this card. You got that cool die cut up there at the top. You get cool etched foil. It's a nice looking card. It's just a cool, design, and they definitely did a good job on this one. 1 in 73 packs, meaning that this is like one in every 3-ish boxes. So tough card and cool design, and it's nice. And I tops did some cards like this before. I remember like they did like rocks or something, and so it's not like there isn't anything else. There's other cards similar to it, but it's definitely a cool design, and I know a lot of people like this card. And so this sold for a little bit more than the rest of the cards because it's definitely a little harder and a very cool design that people like. So that's a good one. That's like, like I understand why people would want this card and pay a little more money for it. Next up is a card that is 1 in 145 packs. So it's one of the rare cards in here. It's a triple crown die cut from 1997 Crown Collection. And there it is. So it's a different version of their die cut. It's the triple crown die cut. So the thing I'd say too is this is why I say it gets confusing with Pacific is, so this card is 1 in 145 packs. This card is 1 in 25 packs. Now, which one would you think if you just saw the two right next to each other? It's like, which one is harder to get or the better design? It's hard for me to think that, okay, well, this card is, almost, 6 times harder to get than this card. So it's the rarer card, but it doesn't look that much nicer. And in fact, I think a lot of people would rather have this design than this design. So it just shows you, like, Pacific had a lot of years where the designs just, this is a rare card, obviously, but it just doesn't have a crazy cool design. And I like that die cut, but it's just not, it needs more. It's like holographic foil. It just needs a little bit more to it to have made people be like, oh my God, that's such a cool card. Look at that. I got to have that in my collection. I think that's what happened a lot with Pacific was you get a really rare card like that and the design is just kind of like, kind of flat. This one kind of grew on me when I got it. Honestly, when I first saw it, I wasn't too cool about it. I thought it was just an okay looking design. It's from Aurora, 1998. The design of the set itself is Major League Moments, or Kings of the Major League. Kings of the Major League. Now that I have it in hand and I can look at it, it's actually a cooler design than I thought, because it's got these circular gold ring patterns. That's very cool, almost like Dufex like. Um, so I kind of really dig it. And it is pretty rare. It's one in every 361 packs. So this is a pretty tough card. This is like one in every 10 boxes, or 12 boxes, depends on if it's 24 or 36 packs. So it's like, it's a really rare card. This is like legit rare, hard to get. Sold for a little bit more than the rest, but not a whole lot more for the rarity. But in hand, I think it's a lot nicer in design than a lot of the other cards that are just kind of like, just a die cut, or like here's one that's just some foil on the back, which is, I think this is a cool looking card, but compared to something like this, that's very flat. This card has a lot more going on. When you see it in hand, you can see how that gold kind of almost shines in 3D. So it's got a lot more design to it. So I really kind of like this card. This is, of all the cards I received, this is the one that surprised me the most for how I liked it. And last but not least, this is the most expensive card. It's got a stated print run of 67, but it is the blue foil from 1998 Pacific, and it's just the blue foil parallel. And the only thing cool about this card is it's got blue foil instead of silver foil, or gold foil, whatever the original base foil was. And so their parallels were boring, non-numbered. So this card just has a stated print run, but it's not actually numbered. So it's really hurt the value. This card was like, I think $76, whereas this would have been a Topps card numbered that low, or an Upper Deck card numbered that low. You're talking hundreds of dollars regardless. So you can see why the value just isn't there for all these cards. The design, parallel wise, nothing really cool and unique about it. And it's not numbered like it should. That would have been cool, because they were numbering cards all the time, and they just chose not to number the set for whatever reason. So, it's not worth a whole lot. People you can't look at this card and just, unless you have memorized baseball cardpedia, you won't know or remember that it's numbered out of 67. If you're at a card show, you may look it up. But again, it's just one of those cards you just easily overlook. And so when the card is easy to overlook and it's hard to see why it's so expensive, you're not going to pay a lot of money for it. And I do think I paid $76 for it because I need it. And I know there's a lot of cool Griffey card collectors out there that know what it is. But again, it was also in an auction with tons of other Pacific cards. So it was easy to kind of be like, okay, this is one of the rarer cards in the whole set, so it's going to have more bids. But I think, in the end, when I look at all these cards and the designs, this fireworks card, this card here, this card, and then this other Crown Diamond. Those are cool cards. Like, I enjoy those cards. I love them being in my set. But a lot of the cards, like this card or this card here, just very boring. So, that's what really, to me, happened to Pacific was, it's hard to tell like why this card is so rare versus, this card, when this card obviously is so much cooler than this card. So like, wouldn't this be the card that should be rare? Shouldn't this card be easier to get than this card? And also, like, when you talk about parallels, like this card, they're just not numbered. The foiling doesn't really set it off that much to make it look that much cooler. So I think that's the end game, is that Pacific cards, for the most part, the rare cards don't look rare in a lot of cases, or they didn't number a lot of the cards that could have been numbered. So it makes it less collectible, less obvious to people who they should pay more money for it because they are special. So there it is. That's my mail day, guys. Hope you like it. It's a big mail day. I'm sorry for the long video. But a lot of stuff in this mail day is cool, like these Mike Piazza cards. I've been just trying to pick up a lot of cool 90s cards. And I did pick up some, vintage cards along the way. I did get an O-Pee-Chee card. I did get a cool, card there, Tom Seaver. So pretty diverse, on target for all I collect. So I felt pretty cool about it. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I'll see you next time on Cards and Comics. Bye.